In this case study interview, you're going to see how Eduardo hit $181,000 cash collected, record-breaking month for him and his coaching business. He's actually in the real estate niche, selling a high-ticket coaching offer. This was done completely organically, so I had him share all the gold nuggets and stuff from it. Let's go ahead and dive into the interview.
Cool. So what's up, everyone? So I have a special treat today. Wanted to get Eduardo and Stoli here for an amazing, not only client success testimonial interview, but also to share value with you in the audience for those that are here in the Facebook group, everyone catching the recording. Just hit a record month using Outbound. I think what's crazy as well about the story is I believe you had told me that you guys aren't even spending money in ads right now, right?
Nope.
Zero ad spend?
2 months ago.
All organic, killed ad spend. So tell us about the record-breaking month that you had first of all, and then we'll go into what you guys were kind of doing before we started getting Outbound and everything up and running.
Well, that's solid.
Yeah, so record month is kind of crazy because, like you said, it's all organic, and we hit a record month. We were like around 180, 181. I think the big thing that really drove results is just talk about the frame, right? So once we were able to install a frame for the guys to just pick up the phone, call twice, reach out to different people who registered for our free training or for, went through like our VSL funnel and Instagram, it all really changed the game from there because like you teach, Dylan, right? You turn the outbound call into an inbound call, and then they're basically starting to sell themselves to our reps. Then from there, we just do a quick discovery, put them on a strategy call, and you saw results, man. It's really insane. It's not like anything groundbreaking or new. It's just be consistent with it and just pitch up the strategy, and then we close the deals. So,
how much more of an impact has Outbound had in your business compared to just inbound?
A lot. We do get a lot of inbound DCs, right? So we have a opt-in page, and then we have our DC page, but it's a lot. I mean, I would attribute a third of the revenue from outbound, right? So just think about what's a third of 180, right? So still it's something. Stable, not more,
Yeah. I think the other value, like the bolted value or the second value that you get is you give the guys opportunity to practice and get really good at it. And so when they're doing inbound DCs later, they have a lot of knowledge because they were able to work on the frame in outbound. So then inbound DC just becomes really easy in compared to, not having the opportunity to do $100, $200 a day, right? So just on the training alone and on the growth alone, that someone can experiment by doing outbound dials, he's going to get the door. There's someone at the door. There's value there, right? Even if it was just for training, there's value there. Even if you didn't make one single dollar, but all of a sudden you're setting more strats and more qualified strats because now that the guy who's taking inbound DCs went through outbound and learned about frame, learned about qualifying, learned about holding frame and never letting go of frame and challenging and that sort of thing. So I think there's a lot of value there, Dylan, that not necessarily equates to cash, but it will at the end and in the long term.
Yeah. It's a crazy story for those who don't know. Eduardo actually closed me on working with him because when he first told me about wanting to come and train his team, I told him, I was like, dude, I can't train your team. I don't speak Spanish. And Eduardo's like, oh no, man, it's not a big deal. We'll translate. It's all good. And I'm like, yeah, but Eduardo, I really don't think I could train him. I speak no. What am I supposed to do? I can't work on tonality. I can't do this. And Eduardo, being the closer he is, he's like, dude, if you pull this off, you're literally the GOAT. He challenged me, and I was like, shit. I literally couldn't say no to it. I thought about it. I was like, dang, you know what? You're right. You got me. You closed me. And what's wild is I still, to this day, out of all the teams I've trained before this, when I'm being a marketing agency, the record before working with you guys was in 3 days' time, closing 2 high-ticket packages within 72 hours. That's from cold call, completely cold, to helping on call to revenue collected was 3 days. You guys actually ended up setting the record, beating that record, which is again crazy because it's all in Spanish, to 3 deals close and within 8 hours. So just for context for everybody here, his team outbounded, got them on the phone, got them same day booked appointment on Eduardo's calendar, and Eduardo closed 3 of them in 1 day. So why don't you tell them about that? About the day that you kind of were able to collect wild 3 deals within an 8-hour period, straight cold calls to cash collected.
Yeah, I was in this house actually. You see that little table there? I was there taking calls, dude. I had I don't remember if it was my family or who it was that I had here, but I remember sitting there and taking those calls and just got really good qualified people, right? So it's like if you have someone you can help, then I'm closing you, right? If I can really help you and I can feel you, I can help you, and you have the capital to get help, and you have the attitude and the mindset and the time, I'm closing you. And so the guys were able to detect that from cold. But again, it just the volume, right? And like the learnings from you and how you created the script and how you developed the frame and how easy it is to for the guys to train on that allows for that to happen. If not, there's just no way, right? There's just no way that someone that's not trained and that doesn't know about frame holding and frame stacking and all that will be able to do it. So it was pretty cool, yeah. And we're looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah.
How do you guys go ahead?
Just on that, add on to that, Dylan, because I think it's not emphasized enough. It's all in Spanish. Everything you teach is in English. I think it's just insane. So like for that to happen within just like a 2 or 3 day period, and it's outbound, right? It's not like, oh, we launched ads or oh, we use this crazy tactic and strategy. It's like just pick up the fucking phone and dial. Excuse my French, but like that's literally all you need to do. Just follow the process and you just get results. Everyone thinks it's like this silver bullet thing. It's like, no, it just comes down to being better on the phone. You can have your team just do that and you guys listen to what Dylan's teaching. If we did it in Spanish, I don't speak Spanish, right? I'm part of the business. I'm in operations. You're going to get results. So just committing to it rather than just like, hey, do we need to tweak this line in the script? Do we need to add this little rebuttal or this little objection? That's not it. It's just listen to what Dylan's doing, implement it, and don't just think about it. Just take the action, and then that's how we solve results. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's all about like what are the principles of the training? Like you need to have a really strong frame, you need to hold frame, and you need to stack. Frame on people. Like if you just understand those 3 things, dude, who cares about like the language on it, right? Who cares about like if you know how to hold frame and your frame, your initial frame is really solid, and then you learn how to hold frame and then you can start stack people's frame. What else do you need, Dylan? Like that alone it's gonna be a huge, it's like taking someone who's like 40% body weight. Like you can get them to like 25% pretty easy, right? Just doing some things that are just eating less, working out, like a few things here. You don't need to get a really detailed workout plan for you to go from like 40% body weight to like 25%, right?
You just gotta show up to the gym.
Yeah, you just gotta literally just show
stop
up.
Eating McDonald's, stop eating burgers.
So
just show up.
A lot of the improvement that like for us right now, we're not in the stage. Our company's not in the stage where it's like we're doing like 0.0% improvements. Like we have so much improvements to make that like just fundamental principles will generate big returns right now. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the people who are listening probably is in the same stage.
So walk them through your packages. Like what kind of price points are you guys selling and how are you guys generating leads?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned earlier, how we generate leads, it's all Instagram organic right now. In May, you were at 20K followers. I think we're at 60K. So we're seeing a lot of growth there, just putting out reels, call to actions in those reels for someone to click a link in bio. That lead then just goes to a very simple direct landing page. Name, email, phone number is captured. That then goes into our pipeline and creates an action for our setter to go ahead and start calling them, right? Then from there, they would then go to a strategy call. One of two things will happen, right? They either get closed or they'll get downsold into a seminar. Our main package started out at, what was it? Like 9,800. Now we're at 20K. And we're seeing amazing results from that. If they're not a fit, we downsell them to a seminar. Last seminar we actually had here in this house, which was, we had like 40 people here. Water Action rolled half of the room, which was insane to see.
Yeah, we got 30 tickets sold, 29 showed up. So almost
50% enrollment. Wow.
We closed 11 people from 29. 11, 12 people, something like that.
Yeah, so it was like, well, it's not 50% exactly. He just said the exact numbers, but yeah, the enrollment rate, we broke a record, but still, one of the things that we did, and we credit for you, a lot of it is when they would be on the outbound call and they don't have capital to fit our ICP or our ideal client profile for our 20K product. Guess what? We had them downsell on the phone, right? Be able to hold frame for them to be able to now register, and even we're able to sell a 997 ticket, right? $1,000 on the spot. Mm-hmm. And guess what? We did 29 shows last month. So that was September 3rd. Today is October 10th. We've sold already 28 tickets. So basically the amount of tickets were too shy off of what we did from May to September. We're already at almost 30 seats. And our next seminar is December 3rd. So just by the power of Outbound, we were, came off creatively, be like, hey, you know what? We're calling these people, but what can we offer them? Some people like downselling the course, but hey, if someone can come in person, and now we've proven out the model that, hey, a third of the room or 40% of the room will enroll. Let's just do that. So we're already liquidating our leads on top of it as well. We were super profitable in our last seminar. So again, all comes down to framing on Outbound.
So just two products, a mastermind that's for 12 months is 20K, and then $1,000 event that's like 6-7 hours in this beautiful oceanfront property that they get to chill here, and it's really personal. There's last time there were only 30 people with us, so they can ask all the questions they want, and we go over like what the product is, and obviously we go over what investing in real estate looks like in Puerto Rico, which is what we teach.
I think what they said is really key, because I see this in a lot of teams that do outbound, is they think that if someone's not qualified, that it's just a waste of time. But I want everyone to notice what they're saying they did is the people that weren't a good fit right then, they downsold them, but still walk them through a process to later go through and eventually be good for the high ticket offer. Like it wasn't two separate, what everyone had to conceptualize here is it wasn't two crazy different offers that had nothing to do with each other. Like it's still going through the same process, which I think is very, very key in terms of LTV. And I love the fact that your reps are able to just go outbound cold call and collect $997 right there on the spot, selling $1,000, which is totally makes the dials worth it. I think what else is crazy is you guys aren't even using crazy auto dialers and stuff yet, right? Isn't all this kind of like just manual dials through CRM?
Yeah, we have a power dialer, but there's nothing crazy like what we're doing. I feel like where it's like $3 dials or one shot. Mm-hmm. Like our setter's producing 100 to 200 dials a day consistently. And we're actually in a spot where we're going to build out more processes to facilitate a bigger team, right? Because we now have a process. Now we just need people. More dialers, more strategies, consistent close rate, more scalability, more impact.
Yep. And the other thing too that's unique about Eduardo's business too is he asked if it was possible to do outbound and sell people into his fund. And all we did was literally just added one question into a script for people who wanted to be active versus passive. And tell what happened that very first month. How many applicants did you have come through that first month for people who didn't want to be active?
Yeah, we had a lot of people come through. We still get people coming through. Now, of course, we're building a separate funnel for people who join the fund, but it still trickles down in from the coaching product. So the guys can detect that, hey, it looks like you're busy. they know, right? They'll hold in frame, they hold in the authority frame. Hey man, me sending you some videos about how to do the work. You just told me you don't have time to do the work. It sounds more like boom. And then they can introduce or present them to the fund, which is a passive opportunity. Yeah, that's major, right? Like in the future, the outbound team could either do whatever, like strat, fund, downsell. Maybe we could like downsell even more. We have like a book to something, like a book where when we launch our book, maybe if depending on the person, boom, even downsell to the book. There's just a lot of opportunity there for us to just maximize every lead. And now, like Sully said, now we have more leads than we have opportunities to call. We have more leads than we have time to call them. So now our leads are sitting there, and that's our next step in the process.
And the minimum investment to your fund, you don't take anything less than like 25K, right? Isn't it 25K minimum just to invest with you?
Yeah, minimum is 25K.
It's huge. So literally all Eduardo's doing is posting on social media, having everyone come in, collecting email and phone number. Every single person gets called and gets sifted into where they belong. Oh, you want to be in fund? Cool. Come over here. Let's raise capital for the fund. Oh, you're not a good fit for a high ticket list. Oh, cool. Here, let's pay $1,000. Let's get you out to the event and then upgrade you later. Oh, you are qualified now. Cool. Come into our high ticket mastermind, 20 grand, and then just selling like hotcakes. That's huge. And for those that think they have to have like a crazy big team. So obviously, people are going to watch this and be like, okay, well, that's cool. I want to be like Eduardo. He did 180K this month. Like, tell him, how many setters do you guys have currently right now?
Like I said, we're underserving a lot of our leads. Okay, one setter, one closer. That's it. So we're in a position now where we're looking to just expand the team, and we know just with current volume, we could probably hit 250 to 300 by end of this quarter, as long as we have the right team players there.
Is ramp up strategy going to be the same thing? Y'all going to stick organic?
For now, yeah. I mean, like I mentioned, we're getting around 2,300, 2,500 leads organic. And, if we're only calling 2,000, not even, man.
Not even.
1,500 people.
Yeah.
The 1,600 leads, we're like not calling a third of our database.
Yeah.
Right. So we're in a position now where we're like, hey, we're now track all of our data, which is super important. So we kind of see how are we growing organically? What's the natural pulse on the business without ads? Now it's just like, hey, how do we increase volume? We know all of our numbers. If we increase volume, X amount of DCs, X amount of leads, X amount of closing, X amount of cash. We just reverse engineer our entire growth of the business with what you said too, right? Whether the fund, the seminar, the 20K products.
We need setters, basically. We have more leads than setters. We have more leads than we can dial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good problem to have. You just need bodies to go and reach out to them for sure. So out of it, out of everyone else, because obviously I'm very different when it comes to how I teach sales and team building, but of everyone else that teaches sales and outbound, what, in your experience of us working together, what was the biggest difference that you guys have seen? What was kind of the biggest epiphany you guys had in terms of like making this successful? Would y'all say it was just framing?
Damn, there's so many. I think that the sales psychology is something that's very overlooked. You teach the fundamentals, you teach the advanced stuff. But for me, man, it's just your approach. Like, I feel like a lot of people beat around the bush. They don't really give you a lot of the value. I think you take a no BS with sugarcoating approach. So every time that something was happening, be like, no, this is the way it needs to be. And we just implement it, right? It's like we're action takers. So I would just think the biggest difference is those two. It's just like, yeah, framing, understanding the sales psychology, why people actually buy. And then the second one just would be like the no BS approach. You're very direct. It's not like we have to sit through 15 videos to figure out what the hell the guys need to say on the call, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me, as the closer, because when I met Dylan, I was a closer. And the biggest impact for me was just the way to use timeline and to use, character flaws, to use cost and to use identity. What do you call that, Dylan? What's the
CIC.
CISD.
Yeah, so character, identity, and cost. That was the biggest game changer for me because and obviously I still have a lot of growth there and potential to get better at it. But that was to me that was the biggest game changer because I'm a engineer, so I'm a analytical guy. So if you give me a framework and I understand the framework, I could apply right away. So having a framework for those sales calls really helped me out a lot. I would say that to me was the biggest thing. Obviously, in addition to the framing and all that. Yep.
Honestly, the fact that you even got CIC as quickly as you did is pretty impressive. Like it's very, I'm noticing it's very advanced for people to kind of grasp, understanding the identity and the CIC stuff, getting the framework down. So it's actually really impressive that you're able to get it and grasp it that quickly. Maybe it is because your engineer mindset and you're so analytical that it was kind of able to go and click. But yeah, dude, that's pretty incredible.
This is the practice and being able to talk to you about it and have you review my calls and that sort of thing. That I think that's, and then having Stoli review my calls because he got trained with you and getting feedback from Stoli and constantly just reinforcing it and challenging and looking at character flaws and pointing it out and understand and digging deep, right? Dr. Frame. That really helped me out a lot.
Dr. Frame. Yeah, I love it. Cool. And I guess in closing, if anyone's watching this and then maybe they're on the fence about working with me or having me work with their team, build an outbound process or train their guys, what would you say to those people?
Well, how much is it costing you for you not to hit your goals? Like, what are your goals now? What are your goals in the future? Let's say you're at 50K now and you want to be at 200K. It's costing you $150,000 a month not to work with Dylan. I mean, I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money out of pocket.
Yeah. So if you're on the fence, man, it's just about the cost because now we're at a point, yeah, we hit 180K, we hit a record month, but just take action. Just implement it. You'll thank Dylan later. Like Eduardo said.
You're not going to figure it out on your own, bro. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone tries.
You're not going to figure it out on your own. If that's your mindset, you're already fucked.
Yeah.
You're coming in like that would be a character flaw. I would just DQ you right away because you're thinking you're going to solve sales by yourself. There's no way.
Yeah. I know he's a closer. That's how you know Eduardo's a closer right there. Understand the character flaws. I love it. Well, awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to be able to go and do this. I'm super stoked for the results you guys have, and I know where you're going. And yeah, next step is, we got to solve the problem getting bodies, getting bodies ramping up, calling all your leads. And then that's going to take you guys to the next level. Next up, 350K a month. It's going to be exciting.